Hi guys, I can't believe Marvel Rivals has already been out for 2 months and they were almost halfway through Season 1. Since the first round of hero balance changes, we've seen the meta change quite a lot with unpopular Season 0 characters such as Storm becoming very strong picks, as well as a shift in team compositions we're seeing in competitive play. Right now, triple support is the flavor of the month and the go-to team comp, especially for higher ranks. This isn't by any means new territory for those of us who have played games like Overwatch, where we've seen triple support and triple tank comps, otherwise known as GOATs, become heavily favored prior to the introduction of role queue. Now that players have become more accustomed to the ranked environment and the ins and outs of the game, a lot of people are saying that triple support is very frustrating or unfun to play against and is a huge issue that the devs need to address soon, with many even suggesting that role queue needs to be added. Is this really the case though, or are players just not understanding how to play against this specific type of team comp and how to counter it? Firstly, let's take a look at why triple support is so popular and the reason why it works so well in Marvel Rivals. In general, strategists as a role have the most impact in the game, and this is pretty evident when you think about heroes like Luna Snow, Cloak and Dagger, or Invisible Woman, who have these immortality ultimates that charge quickly and can make their teams practically unkillable. I'd say the other strategist heroes can also provide big value but in less immediate ways and are more situational compared to the first three. But it's not just the big defensive ults that make support so strong, it's also the amount of sustain across the board in Marvel Rivals. Healing in general is very high and not hard to achieve, with a lot of healers also having abilities that can either AoE heal or provide burst healing to counter extra damage. A lot of supports can also deal hefty damage themselves, along with various forms of utility on low cooldowns that can either clutch save teammates or heavily disrupt the enemy. When you add all this up, it's easy to see why triple support has become so prominent in higher ranked play, because you're increasing sustained healing, defensive ultimates, and utility at the cost of maybe a bit of burst damage. Triple support also enables less quote-unquote meta characters such as Rocket Raccoon, Loki, or Adam Warlock to become more effective, because teams generally do not need 3 defensive ultimates, and these strategists can provide extra damage and game-changing utility such as reses, damage boosts, or area denial without sacrificing healing output. As someone who's played a lot of strategists myself, I don't mind triple support only because it feels generally more reliable and safer, but I'll also admit it can quickly become a slogfest when both teams are mirroring each other and nothing dies. I can understand why many tank and DPS players find it unfun or boring to play against, because the time to kill becomes way too long and it feels like nothing is happening. Does that mean triple support is broken or that there are no ways to play around it? Well, not exactly. Here's the thing, a lot of the times when teams are running very poke-oriented or brawly kind of team comps, triple support becomes very effective because the damage that is being dealt can mostly be soaked up with sustain, which charges up those big support ultimates. So it then becomes this cycle of damage being converted into healing, which then becomes converted into timeout ultimates, rinse and repeat. That's why it's kind of pointless to look at stats and numbers, because they can paint a very inaccurate picture of what is actually happening. For example, if you're doing 1000 damage to a Groot which is being healed up into ult charge for the enemy supports instead of getting valuable picks and eliminations, it actually means you're contributing negatively when you think about it. Putting that aside though, there are actually a number of ways to counter triple support, although it's harder to coordinate in solo queue ranked. I won't go into crazy specifics here, but in general, heavy dive or one-shot ultimates do pretty well to break up that never-ending cycle of sustain. From experience, characters like Venom, Magic, Black Panther, or Psylocke, etc. are a pain in the ass to deal with as support, and your team can quickly fall apart if you do not coordinate to peel or counter this dive. One-shot counter ultimates such as Magneto, Iron Man, Moon Knight, or even a Rocket plus Punisher team-up can also kill through support ults easily and is another way to shut down triple support. You could also just win the neutral by forcing support ults out of turn, or even better, getting them to stack ults so you can re-engage and win the next team fight. I've done this many times with Storm when she isn't banned, because she's generally able to farm her ult quicker than the enemy supports if you play her smart. Triple support really isn't broken, it just requires a level of effort and coordination to play against, which I'll admit can be difficult to do in ranked and is honestly the frustrating part. So even though triple support can be countered, I do still think balance changes need to be made to the role to tone down the level of sustain in the game. Specifically, I think support ults can be charged way too quickly at the moment by just healing, and the payoff for charging those ultimates is just too great. Some ultimates such as Luna's also last way too long, and I wouldn't be opposed to the duration being nerfed to around 8 or 9 seconds instead of 12. Supports should still be impactful, don't get me wrong, so I don't want them to hard nerf healing numbers outside of ultimates, or introduce mechanics such as anti-healing or healing reduction, which can quickly make certain characters obsolete. I also really dislike the idea of introducing role queue, because this will quickly stifle the creativity and adaptability of different team compositions and heroes, which is what makes Marvel Rivals so fun. Not to mention, queue times will be much longer as well. Anyway, the mid-season update is only a few weeks away with the introduction of the Human Torch and the Thing as the next playable heroes, so I'm really interested to see what balance changes the devs are going to make and how the meta is going to evolve next. Let me know what you guys think of triple support in the comments and what changes you'd like to see. You can catch me live on stream every day at twitch.tv/HoshizoraTTV, so thanks for watching and have a great day.